Okay, now I have Julie here with me, who is, now which one of the Homemakers groups are you with?
We are the Humphrey Homemakers,
Okay.
and we meet on the fourth Thursday of every month, unless it's, say Christmas or Thanksgiving. We'll move it up a week. But yes, we do. And I'm the secretary.
Right, okay. And because there are various different Homemakers groups throughout the county that you can take part in, 5 different Homemakers groups. So this is the Humphrey group, and we're having International Day, as we had mentioned. And so for International Day, you made
Challah bread, and it is a Jewish egg bread. And I did some research on it, and I understand you can see that this bread is braided.
Uh-huh.
And there's 3 braids, and each braid is supposed to symbolize different things. And one is truth, the other is peace, and the other is justice. And it's usually done in the Jewish household on certain holidays. Now, not Passover, because that's unleavened bread, but we do have some that I like making breads, so I made enough for everybody to have one. But you can take a couple home. we
were busy.
I was busy. It took me from 8:30 till 3 to actually get it all baked and done. I made 3 batches.
Okay. Wow.
So. Mm-hmm.
So it's a Jewish bread that has symbolism within its twists in there as well. Is it hard to make?
No, it isn't. It's time consuming. That's all. It's time consuming. You have to let the yeast bubble for 20 minutes before you start mixing all the other things with it, and then an hour and a half to raise, and then punch it down, and then another hour to raise, and then shape it, and then another 45 minutes to raise, that kind of thing. And so it takes a while. But sometimes, as I was reading, that some of them was made in different shapes, and the different shapes, like love, it's just round.
Okay.
And also this kind of bread that's braided also shows love, because you're like hugging yourself. Mm-hmm.
Very nice, very nice. Now I noticed you put some butter out with it as well. Is that the way that's best served?
Well, yes, but
all bread's good with butter, right?
All bread's good with butter. But another way is to use it. You know how you would dip bread in the oil and spices and vinegar, maybe at a Italian restaurant. Oh, it soaks it up nicely, very nicely, right?
That'd be very good. So for International Day, this is what you decided to make. Did you bring anything in as well?
I did. A couple of things. I've never been to Italy. I've never been to these other 2 places I brought. But my mother, who was Italian, but she had been given a tray from Mexico. And it is inlaid wood around the edges. And it's under glass. And under glass it is, it's a beautiful picture, but it's made of moth wings. Huh. And it is probably circa 1945.
Wow.
Bigger. So it's over 70 years old. And then the other thing I brought was a kimono that was from Japan. It was sent home from Japan from one of the servicemen to his mother, and his mother gave it to me when I was working with seniors.
Okay.
It's been years ago. It's been 30 years that I have it. Okay. And it's probably 1944. So.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, I think it's pretty neat.
Yes. Yeah, that's great for the kimono, too. And did you say it was made from moth wings, like the insect moth?
Yes. Yes. You'll have, when you see it, you'll see. And then there's some iridescent moth wings there that I thought they were feathers. When I saw it first thing, I thought it was feathers, not moth wings.
Oh, wow. Well, that's pretty interesting. So where is some place that you have visited yourself that you would say everybody needs to go see someday?
Oh, Kauai. Okay. Kauai, yes. And you have to fly into Honolulu, but go on to Kauai, because it's the garden island. And we've been there 2 or 3 times. And I really don't have anything from it. I don't know why we didn't. Well,
fond memories.
I could have brought some jewelry. I did buy some jewelry, but it wasn't anything special, like made by Hawaiians or anything. And but that's one of the places I would say to go. And we also have just been on a cruise recently, and we went to Cozumel. We went to Key West and Cozumel, and that was very nice on Royal Caribbean. And then my sisters and I are planning a trip, just the three of us. We've never been any place together as adults.
Really?
And we're going to share a cabin, and we're going on a Royal Caribbean cruise in December, around after Christmas, over New Year's. Our father's birthday is New Year's Eve, and so we're going to sort of celebrate that. And we're going to go to from Miami, excuse me, to Nassau, and then on to Labadee, which is part of Haiti, just a little island thing. So,
wow.
So it's going to be fun.
Nice. Very nice. And hopefully you'll be warm for you.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping in December. It'd be nice to be warm.
Exactly. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. You do such a good job with your television show. Thank you.
We appreciate you letting us know about this. And again, we appreciate the bread, too.
Yeah, you'll get some. You certainly will. Thank you.
Okay, I'm here now with Judy Arndt, who's also with the Nelson County Homemakers. And you did a presentation on several items that you have of your own, actually. This whole table here is a display of different items. Tell us about the presentation that you gave.
Well, I brought little dolls representing the various regions of Poland. They all had their own different costumes.
Now, we want to start, your family's from, you have Polish
My-
descent, right? That's where you
Yes.
started. Okay.
Yes, my grandparents came to this country in 1913 separately. They did not. My grandfather was from Eastern Poland, which was not really Poland, it was Russia at the time. And my grandmother came from Western Poland, which was Germany.
Okay.
And they came to Chicago and met in Chicago.
Yeah, because you were saying during your presentation that later they would say, instead of saying he was Russian, they would say they're Polish Russian or Polish German,
Yes,
right?
My grandfather, when he came over, the Ellis Island documents said he was Russian. But he was, they're of Polish descent. And they kept the Polish language. They could speak German, and I think my grandfather probably could speak a little Russian, but it was something he wasn't doing willingly, so he just never didn't do it very much. You know.
Okay, so we're going back. So these are some of the dolls that you brought.
These are the dolls. They represent various regions, the mountain regions. There are mountains in Poland and farmland. Now this doll and this Bella, they're the same region. And the cards are various Christmas cards and birthday cards and Easter cards that we received from family members over the years. Mostly from my mother. I used to communicate with one of the little girls. She was probably 9 or 10 at the time. She would write back and forth. She could write in English and understood English. The older generation still in Poland still spoke Polish. So I would write to her in English. She would translate to her family.
Okay. So you still had relatives in Poland?
Yes, and I still do, distant relatives, my mother's cousins. The little girl, of course, grew up, and she's probably 38 now, and we don't communicate anymore.
Okay. So she would have grown up when it was still under a communist regime as a child.
Oh yes, and when they gained their democracy, she wrote back and she said, yes, before under communism, there was a lot of food, but no, there wasn't enough food, but we had the money, and they would get a 3-week vacation, which they had to go to the hospital and get their physicals, and then they'd get to go to the sea and bask. But she said, now it's democracy and we're free, and the stores are full of, we don't have to wait in line for food, stores are well stocked, but we can't have the money now. And they had to before it was kind of everyone being on the dole, and now they had to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a change.
It was a big change for them.
Okay. So also, you told about these colorful cards that you have here, papers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
These are Polish cutouts, and I cannot pronounce it in Polish. Wieszczanki, I think it's the way it's pronounced.
Okay.
Originally, the people would decorate their homes with colored paper that they cut out because they couldn't afford any wallpaper or pictures for their walls, and they used sheep shears to do the cutouts. These were not done with sheep shears, obviously, and it's just something they still do. They're known for their paper cutouts.
And it had some color, you were saying, because they may not have the opportunity for color in their where they were living, what have you, right?
That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
very good. Now, also, we have on display here a lamb. So tell us a little about the significance of this. It has to do with the holiday, right?
This is an iron lamb. It probably weighs 25 pounds. My Czechoslovakian grandfather, when he came to this country, he worked in a foundry, and he made this. This is used at Easter time. You make your pound cake loaf in the lamb shape,
Okay.
and put it in your Easter basket, and that's you celebrate Easter with the lamb shaped Easter cake and lamb-shaped butter mold also, but I don't have the butter mold.
Is the butter as big?
No, the butter's only.
That's a lot of butter.
No.
Well, that's really neat.
And this is inside. Now, it's detailed on the outside, but inside it has even more detail. And you can find these on the market that have been made, mass-produced, way back when. They're not as detailed. And his inside, the eyes and the nose and everything, is just, I don't want to take it apart, but he did a wonderful job.
Have you baked with that?
Every year.
Okay, so you still do.
I still do.
Fantastic. Very good. Now, also over here, let's move down here for a minute. You have your necklaces here. You're saying they're from Poland as well, right?
Yes. This is amber, Polish amber. Amber is a fossilized tree resin, and I guess it washes up on shore, and people go out and collect it. Different colors. I would assume this is a better grade because it's larger pieces, and these are all very, very small. But Polish people believe it brings you good luck to wear it.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for sharing with us. And again, this is International Day, and as we had said, they had displays with various different members of the club. Now, also, everybody brought in a dish. What did you bring in?
I cheated. I brought Italian cake bites.
Okay.
And they're very colorful. Came from Costco.
But they're Italian. That's what matters, right?
They're Italian, yes.
Well, thank you very much. Okay.